The Challenger shouldn't exist. Its proportions are large, its platform is really dated, its engines are just ridiculous. But I think that's why we love it. It's just such a dinosaur that who couldn't? When the Dodge Challenger first came out back in 2008, it featured a 425 horsepower, 6.1 liter Hemi as the sole option. After that, the 5.7 liter came into play and the V6. Later, the 6.1 liter was replaced with this engine, the 6.4. Back then it made 470 horsepower, and now for this model year, the 2015, it made 485 horsepower. See, back in 2008 with 425 horsepower, you were at the top of the pack. It was soon beaten out by the Camaro in 2010 with 426 horsepower, but the same year, the Shelby GT500 came out with 550, and the ZL1 Camaro with 580 horsepower. Then the GT500 came back with 662, and then the Hellcat shit all over everything with 707, and then the Demon with 840. It kind of just got out of hand, but
as Dodge released the Hellcat, the other guys began to release vehicles with different focuses.
Chevy and Ford have turned more to tuning for back roads, for stuff like this where, you know, you're going to appreciate a solid suspension. Chevy provided vehicles like the Z28 to do this, and Ford made the GT350. Both low production numbers, but both did their job pretty well. Dodge did none of this. See, Dodge just stuck bigger engines and shit, and that seemed to do them right. See, they may have upped it to 707 horsepower with the Hellcat, but this does not need that. 485 horsepower is plenty, and I think, honestly, if I had to buy a Dodge Challenger, I would buy this one. I would buy an RT with a ScatPack because, one, you can save money over the SRT, and two, with the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated, you aren't constantly afraid of what's going to happen. It's a lot of power, believe me, but it stays hooked up, and to my surprise, it actually handles pretty decently. The steering is direct. I feel what's going on. There is some body roll just because the thing weighs so much. It's not the ideal track car for that because of the weight, but it doesn't feel lethargic in any manner. Compared to the previous generation Dodge Challenger, which originated back in 2008, the interior of the updated version is much better. Headroom is plentiful in the front, and the back isn't awful either. You can fit 4 adults pretty comfortably, and that's saying a lot compared to the competition.
Although, if you're carrying more than one person regularly, then I still do recommend the Charger instead of the Challenger. The front occupants are met with some solid seats. The Alcantara material grips the driver well, and the Super B logo is a cool touch. They provide sufficient thigh support and offer plenty of bolstering without giving your kidneys too much of a tickle. The Uconnect system found in the Challenger is also on par with the first Ford Sync system, meaning it is more than usable, but lacks the tablet-like speed of some newer systems and misses out on Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which became available in 2017 for the Challenger.
Soft touch materials are used where you actually use them, like the knees, your elbows where they rest on the center console, and on the door rest. The steering wheel is nicely outfitted with stitched leather. The layout is simple and easy to read, and that goes along with the rest of the interior. The dials are easy to use. Everything is simply laid out. You kind of have a gist of what's going on the moment you step in it. The faux carbon fiber that they use actually isn't awful to look at, and I do have to say the way that they use the color combinations, it's not too much, but they could have used a little bit higher quality materials. I wouldn't put it as high as, say, the 2015 or even the new 2018, 2019 Ford Mustangs. You can't beat that naturally aspirated sound, and it's a part of the experience. And so many vehicles now, they take that away with turbocharged V6s, and it's not that I hate those. It's just that... And of course, I have to talk about the transmission here. This is not the usual vehicle. Most sold with the 6 and later the 8-speed automatic. This is the 6-speed. And I was expecting it to be kind of a mess. Long throws, stiff clutch, something that is hard to live with, but it's not. The clutch is one of my favorite clutches that I've felt in a real long time. It's not too long, not too stiff. You can feel exactly what's going on. It's an easy car to drive. And the transmission, the way that it feels, it's the throws are short. It feels notchy, but in a satisfying way. I don't think I'd buy this car any other way. But, speaking about how easy this is to drive, how easy is it to live with? It's a little loud with the engine. It's always kind of there, but the seats themselves, the ride, it's all pretty comfortable. It's not too stiff. It's definitely a plus for the Dodge being a Dodge, where it's not trying to be a track car. It's not trying to beat you up through everything. It's not like that. I can't sit here and talk about comfort and livability because it's also a Challenger. So that means we gotta do an acceleration run. First gear, gonna bring it to about 3,000 RPMs. Clutch drop. Whew! Holy shit! Oh my gosh, that is quick. I've never driven a car with a manual transmission that is that fast. Wow. That is awesome. But what I have here is a 485 horsepower sports car that has Dodge reliability, Dodge build quality, which tends to be a negative. This thing as is, there's a few things that I can hear that I don't think I should. Now Chevy and Ford aren't perfect either, and reliability ratings on this aren't horrendous, but it's no Toyota, it's no Honda, and that's just something that you're definitely going to have to live with.
These issues, though, that Dodges tend to have don't seem to affect Challenger owners, as an impressive 82 out of the 82 consumers on Cars.com said they'd recommend the Challenger to a friend. You literally can't get better than that. And if you ask me why the Dodge's satisfaction rates are so high while the critic reviews tend to fall short of the competition, I'd say that the Challenger had a specific target audience. And these people wanted more of an emotional experience than outright competency. And Dodge delivered.
Despite how good this platform is, it still does show its age. It doesn't feel quite as rigid or as stable as the Camaro. I haven't driven the new Mustang to judge it, but I'm assuming from what I've heard that the Mustang is also a little bit better in those regards. But I don't think I really care. Part of owning a muscle car is not just how fast it is, it's how it makes you feel. And the Dodge makes me feel good.
What I'm in love with is the sensation that I'm pushing a big-ass car in ways that shouldn't be possible. It shouldn't be this fast. It shouldn't feel this alive, yet it does. And the way it looks too, that clean side profile matches perfectly with the menacing front end, and how it transcends classic and modern looks with all these character lines is remarkable. All of this has led me to believe that the Challenger is just plain cool. Sure, it would lose at a track to a Camaro, and yeah, it may fail to take out as many cars and coffee pedestrians as a Mustang, but being a great sports car doesn't necessarily translate to being a great muscle car. See, the Challenger doesn't need to be exceptional at everything to be a good muscle car. It just needs to be overpowered, sexy, and big. All of which the Challenger does well. Very well.
Thanks everyone for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe and you'll receive content as soon as it's released. Now I'd like to take a moment and thank my new sponsor, Royal on the East Side, and the sales manager, Jared for making this video possible. Royal on the East Side is a dealership in Bloomington, Indiana. They're honest, helpful, and well-informed on their product. If you're looking for any car, be sure to check them out. I'd also like to welcome the new crew of Realistic. Jared.Parker, who controls the marketing and helps on set, and Harter, the new videographer. You guys are really helping me take this to the next level, and I can't express how much that means to me. To all those that have supported me, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.